Can everybody hear me?
Mhm.
Oh, I can hear y'all. Every time I come on here, I just wish we had a theme song. Like living just
I wish,
enough.
I wish we could just be on
We
time. That's it.
we are on time. What you talking about? We on time. We are on. We don't hear nothing from you. I don't know what you did. We don't hear nothing from you. We are on
Mm.
time. We ain't sociably late like most of us black people. I mean, you know.
You're
I don't
gonna, I
hear
don't know if you muted or what, but
Yeah,
can
I
you?
don't hear nothing from you. Muted on a Bluetooth or something. We don't hear you. We don't hear nothing from you. I don't think you clicked your audio on or something. You gotta do like sign language to you or something like.
No.
Well,
You may have to disconnect.
yeah, disconnect and come back in. Technical difficulties. We were on time. I started the feed exactly at 6:00.
I think your time is slow.
I'm looking right at the time on the computer. Like we were fashionably on time.
No, that's late.
Good afternoon, Panethia. We'll give some folks a chance to get on, and good evening, everyone. We have a great discussion for you this evening. There's been a lot of action going on in the city over the past week now. And my dear sister, someone who I really consider to be my dear sister, Donna Tebron Green. I just got to thank you for all the work that you've done all week long, because you were definitely running last week. So I think that's why you look tired right now, because you were running last week. So, but I appreciate you so much, especially because I'm playing like double and triple duty for my jobs, and didn't really have the chance to get down to some of the call to action this week. But I appreciate you, my sister, and I appreciate the whole team for stepping up. And we're going to get into that conversation this evening, family. So don't go nowhere. Stay with us, because we're going to talk about several different issues. And of course, we all know that it's back to school as well. We're going to talk about that and our children going back to school. And of course, I want to throw this out. I always throw this out every year, and I'm surprised I didn't do that on the radio show today. But every year I usually say, look, our little ones are going back to school very shortly, and we want you to be mindful and be watchful over our young folks. If you're traveling out and about, you may have been traveling different during the summer, and may not have had, children out in the streets and, crossing over the crosswalks to get to school. But we're asking you to be mindful that our young babies are getting ready to go back to school, and we want to make sure that they get to school so they could be successful in the school year. And that means that you as a motorist, or you being out there in the community, really need to be mindful and watchful over our young babies, and make sure that they're getting to and from school and not being put in harm's way. So travel safely. Remember that. I don't know what happened to everybody else, but I'm going to go ahead and move forward really quick. So let's pay the bills really quick. Folks, welcome to another rendition and edition of
Hey,
uh,
Benita.
Hey Benita. Welcome to another rendition edition of Frontline News, where we bring you the frontline news from and discussion from around America and beyond, from urban America and beyond. Got to thank Donnie Glover and the whole BlackUSA.news team for allowing us this opportunity to be able to come on every Monday at 6:00. And we all know that Donnie Glover is the originator of the original Black Wall Street, and part of the Be More News, which has been in publication, easily 2 decades now, providing news from our community, and not just in Baltimore City, but around the country, Donnie has talked about many different stories around the country. So thank you, Donnie, for all that you do and just allowing us to have this platform. Um, Also, it's being brought to you by, of course, PBTS, People Empowered by the Struggle. We are a one-stop shop for all struggles. Doesn't matter what your issue may be. And it's funny because Yolanda said that she was at a meeting the other day, and a woman had asked her from the city, I guess, had asked her, I'm not really sure what you guys do. And Yolanda basically said, we do everything, whatever it is, we help you navigate through whatever your struggles may be in Baltimore City. We've talked people off of ledges. We've helped people with their housing issues. We've helped them with homelessness issues. We've helped them with their children's educational issues, substance abuse, life coach, you name it. We are a one-stop shop. So if you do have any trouble at all, and you would like to at least reach out to us for some sort of assistance with your struggle, we are a 24-hour operation, 7 days a week. We don't take off for our birthdays, anyone's birthdays. We don't take off even for Jesus' birthday. And so, we are a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation. If you need us, give us a call, 443, let me see if I get this right, 355-8014. And that'd be the first number I call when I get locked up, because that'd be my first phone call. You best to believe. So I know that number by heart. People Empowered by the Struggle. 443-355-8014. Or
right.
you can reach out to us at pebts.org@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear back from you. Any feedback in reference to Frontline News, our podcast, or if you'd like to help us. We do have a Cash App, don't we, Donna?
We do.
Do you remember what the Cash App? Do you remember what the Cash App was?
I'm hardly thinking right now, Jason. I am so, when I say tired, I am so tired. And if I go flicking around on my phone, I'm gonna lose you.
Right.
So we're gonna have to
I want to.
we're gonna have to confirm that soon.
I want to say PEBTS 2022. 2020. Okay, so it's PEBTS 2020. PEBTS 2020. So $ PEBTS 2020. So again, any donation will do. I mean, even $1 helps us, to be able to put something in the gas tank to be able to get around to all these calls of service. So we appreciate any donations. As a matter of fact, I'll even put the Cash App sign down on the bottom in case y'all want to, again, contribute and help us. We get absolutely no funding. A lot of times we're ineligible many times to get funding because we speak out against the injustices. If we see something wrong, we're going to say something about it. And many times that goes against the system or goes against the ruling party in this city. But without further ado, I'm not sure what happened.
So Jason, while we're
I don't know what
waiting,
happened to Yolanda. I think
while
she
we're
might even
waiting,
be on a call of service.
so hold on. While we're waiting, I just want to give an extra special shout out to those Ravens, honey. I don't know who watched that game last night, but
But it's
like
preseason. Preseason. We need them to
I'm
do
just
this.
saying, it's likely that likely gonna have a good position with us.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, that's checking. Look. You Colts fan. You Colts fan. You stay in the dark down there because you won't even come. You won't even come to the light, Colt fan.
No, let's leave Colts fan on
without a proper introduction, But yeah, I hope they do this during regular season, and that means that the second squad and third string squad. I mean, we have some players that are definitely ready to step up. And I got to say this: I'm not really an O's fan. Born and bred in New York. Moved here. Up team many years ago. But I got to give it to the O's. Another team doing well in Baltimore, and I think Baltimore needs that right now. They need both of their teams, the Ravens and the Orioles, to really kind of come through all this malaise, of disparity and malaise of just nonsense going on in the city with crime and grime and so I got to give a shout out to the O's because the O's are doing their things and they may be in a pennant race. So It'd be interesting to see what they
Yeah, because
do.
nothing
You
gets you
know,
together like a good old football, baseball, basketball game. Everybody can come together on that.
that's right. That's right.
Hmm.
Except for
I
this
agree.
cult fan right here, while we wait for the other cult fan to come in. Our,
Mm.
our our executive director of People Empowered by the Struggle, and your former mayor candidate for Baltimore City, and who really should have been your mayor of Baltimore City. We wouldn't be talking about a lot of this nonsense now, if it wasn't, for what's going on currently in this administration. I'm telling you that Yolanda is looking at dissecting almost every one of these agencies that are failing our people in this city, and really transforming the way that we do business in Baltimore City. Matter of fact, while most of these folks and politicians go to bed at night, Yolanda's talking about having 24-hour operations in this city. If there's a family in need in the middle of the night, they shouldn't have to wait till the next morning to be able to get services. And that's what happens a lot of time, or wait till Monday morning to get services. Because a lot of people are waiting over the weekend, just for somebody to show up, at homeless services, just for them to get, help. But while we wait for our executive director, again, who should have been your mayor of Baltimore City. um,
She sent me a message, Jason. She's still having some difficulties with the sound.
okay, all right. Well, I didn't even see her log in yet. So, but I guess without further ado, someone again who has really stepped up in reference to People Empowered by the Struggle, someone who is truly uh, an artist when it comes to that rap game, when it comes to that spit game. We played a track from him a couple of episodes ago. Where he just really just a powerful statement in reference to fathers, and the impact that fathers have in our lives. Someone who I really admire as a father himself. Just this weekend, matter of fact, we just celebrated his son's birthday, DJ. And you talked about somebody who's running around in grand style, trying to make sure that his son was taken care of for his birthday. Had an excellent cookout. By the way, them beans was to die for.
It was
By the
nice.
way,
It was nice, wasn't it? I wasn't invited. My bad. It was
oh,
nice
oh,
though. It
oh,
was
oh,
nice.
oh,
Um,
oh.
that was nice.
You ain't invite auntie, like that's a no. You ain't invite auntie out of all people. Um,
Now, normally I would, wait for my introduction to be over, but don't do that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
you
I
didn't
invite
invite
you. That's
auntie.
crazy. It was
You invited
literally
me?
like it was literally like spur of the moment type of thing. Like I
It
just
wasn't.
wanted to go.
Nah. We're gonna have this conversation because somebody else
That's
got
crazy.
somebody else in my house got an invitation on
Who
Thursday.
does?
On Thursday, Jason. So
That's crazy.
somebody else in my house got an invitation with their family on Thursday,
It was
and
a
I didn't know
kid. It was
nothing.
just
I knew
one kid
nothing
that did
about
it.
it. But it's
That's
okay
crazy.
because he's not invited to none of my kids' birthday parties no more.
They don't even have kids no more, bro. They
None of my kids. I'm
don't
telling you,
even have
you will
kids
not
no
get
more.
the
Like
invite. You won't. I don't care if my
Without
kids
further
old.
ado, just the I don't even know how to introduce it after this,
mm,
because
mm,
that's
mm,
just
Angry.
a violation,
mm, mm,
foul, just a
Hmm.
foul.
mm, mm,
That
mm.
that's a full body foul right there. Full body foul.
Me
This
though, me. Oh,
this is an outrage.
it is. I
This is
agree.
an outrage.
Family,
I
without
agree.
without further ado,
Mm,
the
mm,
father that
mm.
didn't call, the aunt,
Mm-hmm.
Jason, who you with?
Deron Hill.
Who you
Mm-hmm.
with?
Deron.
Uh,
Who you with?
uh, I mean, that was a foul right there. I don't know. I
Thank
don't even know how
you.
to take that one. I got to stick
Thank
up on.
you.
I got to stick up for my big sister on this one.
Accountability is everything, Mr. Hill.
I don't know that. That's
You not even my little monkey right now. You Mr. Hill.
Huh? Okay.
you ain't
Speak,
even
sir.
you don't even you know what you're a Ravens fan, so you know
Speak, sir.
you're a Ravens fan, so you know.
You're a
But
Colts fan, so you would never understand. You muted, Jason. What you say?
No, I was so our executive director is having difficulty with her device. and I was trying to see if I could try to fix it.
The
Um,
iPhone? She's having
no,
problems with
she's
an
having
iPhone?
difficulty with the iPad.
Hmm.
Tell her move over to the Android.
So I
Keep
just
going
had
with that.
Braylon just hand me this, talk about, and he's shouting the Ravens in the background. He ain't saying the
Hey,
Colts. He ain't
Uh,
saying the Colts. He's saying the
uh,
Ravens.
you see that
uh.
game, Deron? You didn't?
Nah, I don't like to watch poop on my TV. You feel me?
If that's what you call poop, what
Mm,
you talking about? I'm about to say
mm.
the Rams. Jesus Christ. Who we play?
Colts.
It's, look,
The
it's
Cardinals.
forgotten all. It's forgotten already. Who we
I
play
played the
yesterday?
Cardinals, right? Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
We was excellent yesterday. You had to
But
see that.
it's
No,
preseason.
I'm not gonna say it. It's definitely preseason, but I did watch some of it. Huntley showed out, man. He really
Hmm.
showed out. Look
Hmm.
good.
And
He
likely,
looked good.
likely. You see likely, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He looked good.
It's
He looked
making
good.
me proud. It's really making me proud.
Yeah, so I mean, y'all gonna definitely get to the playoffs. I don't know if y'all gonna do anything in the playoffs. Y'all never do. But as enough, I just can't get it done, man. Y'all only that
Deron,
it's not
you need some toilet paper. You got all this coming out your mouth.
a word. Word, word,
Oh, yeah. Right
word.
here, right here. Get that right there in the
Is that
corner.
right there? Is
Hmm.
it this side or this side?
Both. It's spearing out. It's spearing.
Mm, I was watching y'all practice, so that might have been it.
You, do- I'll practice.
Yeah,
Who practice?
yeah, the Ravens. I was watching the Ravens practice, so that might have been it. Might have got some.
Was it with them glasses on?
Nah, my eyes are just
It's a
like
little
really.
dark. It's a
Nah,
little
my
dark.
eyes are like really like low. You know,
It's a little dark. But I
so
guess while we waiting, you want to
do the
introduce the
shout outs.
topic that I don't know, like
We can do the
it's
shout
in,
outs. We can definitely do the shout outs, man. Um, this past weekend, we had an event. Well,
two.
this past week, yeah, this past week, we've had two events, and particular people at the first event, they showed out marvelously and helped people empowered by the struggle in such a big way that we wanted to give you guys a personal shout out. Um, you can take it from there, Don.
So for the first event, I don't know if you guys know, but it was the Tent City event down City Hall and in front of War Memorial building across the street, right in the little area. And we like to give a special shout out because we like to give your flowers while you're here around us instead of just focusing on the negative and what everyone's not doing and not saying. So we'd like to give you a shout out to Trina's mom. I'm not Trina is with People Empowered by the Struggle. She's on our board. Trina, Panita, if you know Trina's mom's name, please send it over so we can specifically say her name. We also like to give a shout out to Nisha, Nini, formerly PBTS, People Empowered by the Struggle. She came through a couple times with some food. We know it wasn't easy for you. We like to give you a special shout out because you shared what you did have. We also like to give a shout out to even Brandon Scott. It was said that he recognized that Yolanda was over there and with People Empowered by the Struggle, and he sent over some pizza and actually some breakfast. And okay, so with the if I forgot somebody, please let me know. But with the back to school event, we like to give an extra special shout out to our director of inmate affairs, LJ, for coming up with the idea for trying to get some donations together for the back to school event. So we'd like to give a special shout out to his friend Keon Chavez and also his friend B.O. We'd like to give you guys a shout out for the donations for the back to school event. And yay, big, huge shout out to Mr. Chat. Mr. Chat invited us to the Battle of the Bands back to school event. It was extremely successful. I mean, the bands, it had me feeling like I was 10 years old out there. Just, it was fun just to see our people out there enjoying themselves and just the support in the community that came out. So I like to give an extra special shout out to Mr. Chat.
Donna, can I say something? Even though I don't have a device that's I don't know what's wrong with my iPad, but I have no sound. I mean, I can hear y'all, but y'all can't hear me. And I was upstairs trying to figure it out. And guess what I figured out? That I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I figured out. I figured out I don't know what I'm doing. So
is that an old iPad?
No.
See, my iPad, I'm having issues right now. That it like how you do the updates and stuff. Now I can't connect to my home Wi-Fi.
So I shouldn't do the update.
I don't know if you should, because every time anybody do an Apple update, it's always something that's happening. Like I cannot connect to my home Wi-Fi. And
Did you give a shout out? Did you give a shout out to Nene?
I did. And oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now we can't hear you, Jason.
I was muted, so I'm sorry. Bad tech.
Wait a minute, Donna, that was shade all day long. That was shade.
What?
I was muted. That was shade all day long. Shade.
Didn't he mute himself?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't have no sound on my iPad. And he gonna say I was muted.
Oh.
I was gonna say though, as a tech person myself, I would not recommend not updating your device, because there may be some security issues that you may be setting yourself up for.
Well, security issues by not having no sound?
No, that's different.
What about no Wi-Fi?
I don't know, and I'd have to take a look at that. Why don't you bring it to me and let me?
I sure will, because as a tech person, you don't think that every time you update your Apple, something goes on with older devices?
I mean, I've had plenty of issues, but I got her sound fixed right now. See, she had some sort of food or some sticky stuff inside her microphone. So
that's what that was, food, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, not yet. We don't know what the problem is. But Donna, I want to also thank Chat for what he did. Even though we didn't have time because we was out there with the homeless all week, we didn't have time to go pick up a lot of stuff. He came through. He looked out.
How many bags you think? 75 to 100. How many bags you think we were able to give out?
I don't know. It was 5 boxes of book bags.
It was phenomenal. We need to send him. Chat, we're gonna send you some flowers when we can get some money together.
Edible arrangement. We're gonna get you an edible arrangement.
And Yolanda not making it for you. I'm sorry.
Look, Yo-Yo she made one for me. What? I was just and that wasn't some shade, because I was about to give you kudos, babe. I was about to give you kudos because that edible arrangement you made me was pretty good.
Well, maybe she took her time on yours. Some of my flowers wasn't flowered. Some of my fruit was like this.
Oh no, Donna, wait a minute. That's because you picked yours up at the last minute. When I first did mine, oh, you such a hater. Hater.
I saw the love and the craftsmanship.
Thank you.
All in it. Like, wow.
Listen.
I mean, my chocolate was a little bit. My chocolate was, wasn't of
you get an E for effort and edible.
E for effort and
and it was edible, but the look.
I was impressed. I thought that, maybe a first time person that worked at edible arrangements, that was still a trainee.
They would have tried.
I thought it was a trainee at
you need to stick the statement of community. Leave the arrangements to them.
I thought it was a trainee at what is it? Edible arrangements that did it. So
wait, no, don't do that to them.
All right.
I'd like to see Donna try to do one.
I'm not. I stay in my lane. I'm not.
Yeah, that was
I can't cut straight circles, so I'm not going to try. It's going to look ridiculous. Like, why would I try to
see my next one? Wait till you see my next one. Next.
I hope it ain't for me. And the other one, I'm sure you ain't drop off yet.
So trying to stay on subject a little bit.
Wait, where is she at?
Your tablet's ready, Yolanda, by the way.
Oh,
trying to stay on topic.
Wait a minute, let me tell you, Deja Deidre couldn't come on because she got to pull another double tonight. You know, she got off this morning. She got to do a double tonight. So when she go in tonight, she don't get off till tomorrow evening, and then she go back in, and it's just how it's going to be for the rest of the week. Because they don't have anybody to cover her. They don't have anybody to cover shifts. So she's
Get that money. Get that money. Get that money. That's all I got to say. Get that money.
Yeah, we know you would say that.
That's right. Get that money.
He'll be dropped. Did you fix my iPad yet?
Yes, I did. Somebody who works over 100 and some odd hours every 2 weeks.
Wait a minute, Jason, is my iPad working?
He said yes.
Okay, I gotta give
several times.
Wait a minute, Donna, you gotta see Deron's face. He's mad because I took his phone.
Wait, you took his phone?
Yeah. Don't you know? You don't see who name I'm sitting under?
She looking purple
I can't see no names. I don't know.
Don't you see her looking purple like he usually does?
Yeah, but I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she was using somebody else. How you gonna take his phone?
Right. So back on the subject really quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
This week, if folks don't know, if you watch the news, we were involved in the Occupy, what we're calling Occupy City Hall movement. Originally, the movement had started in 2017 with the hashtag Tent City, which actually came out of the Occupy movement, by the way. So back when the Occupy movement had started in 2014, shortly after, I believe it's the student union or a Southern Student Union leadership, something, I forget the name of the organization, came together with 300 Gangsters, Baltimore Block, and several other organizations, and they started what was the hashtag Tent City movement. Here it is since 2017, almost 6 years later, and we're still talking about occupying City Hall to try to make a statement in reference to our homeless population, or a lack thereof some sort of permanent solution. We don't have a permanent solution when dealing with homelessness in this city, and people get cycled in and out of these organizations that have no love and compassion for them or have no real empathy towards their plight. In many cases, they handle them very aggressively, in some cases causing more additional trauma to our homeless population. We have a lot of times city agencies that are supposed to be in charge of this with no oversight. You have larger organizations like Catholic Charities and organizations that are supposed to be managing a lot of these caseworkers, and seems to be no oversight, or at least no guidance coming from Catholic Charities in reference to these caseworkers. So we're seeing the same cycles over and over again with the same, and actually in some cases, many of the same individuals. I was reminded by someone who used to be a part of homeless services that she could name probably 24 of the folks that were back down there at the new Occupy City Hall movement. She knew the majority of them, and she knew that many of them had been cycled in and out of the system since 2017. So we need to come up with a better solution. I think that Yolanda has a better solution, and even partnering up with Smaltimore, with our dear friends that come on after us, even partnering up with Smaltimore to come up with a more permanent solution is the idea. And I think we're going to really try to hold the city's hand at coming up with this more permanent idea, as opposed to making it so transient the way that it is currently. And so our team is coming back up, slowly but surely.
So I just like to one of the folks that I talked to down there, a 68-year, I won't say her, put her name up there, 68-year-old lady, her son, her grandchild, 12-year-old grandchild. She's been homeless for 20 years. It's like when I say it hurt my heart just to see that we have babies exposed to these situations. There was a tent down there for a little child that the mom didn't want to stay down there because, you know, it's like the safety issues. Like, it's a lot of issues that we have to address, a whole lot of issues. And a lot of people have prejudgments as to why they're all homeless. Like, everyone want to say it's because everybody got an addiction to drugs or alcohol, or everybody got a mental illness, but some people really just lost their way. Some people really lost a job and didn't have another chance with nobody else. Some people lost the matriarch, and then once the matriarch is done, you know, because a lot of times in our community, the matriarch keeps us in homes for a lot of our parents' lives.
Big
You know,
mama.
and without that, it makes it a lot simpler for them to, you know, go on the street because they don't have the friends like we had to take us on the couch. Because right now we have all our families living with us.
Yeah.
So
Donna, can I say something about that? You're absolutely right. And I had a conversation with Mr. Ray Rice today in reference to Six. Six is one of the original ones that was out there in the first tent city. It don't goes to show you that these people are hard headed. It goes to show you that these people has been failed time and time again through the same system that they keep funding. One, two, I don't like the narrative that they got like they ran us off or something. You gave us what we wanted. You gave us what we wanted. So how did y'all win? Y'all only it wasn't even a win-win, or it was a win-win situation. Gave once you um gave the people somewhere to go, you
but
know,
who
once you gave them,
specifically said that though? Like, because I've
it
read
was the
one article.
communicator, whoever the his communicator person is,
So
which I
that's who
can't
we need to
wait.
be talking to, because from my understanding, like, we both felt like it was a step in the right direction. And I
Right.
read an article from one of these news outlets that said we retreated. Like, why would you word things like that to make somebody say, "Oh, well,
That was
you won and you lost"? Like, it's not a win
right.
lose.
That
It's a win-win in both situations,
right.
because we was able to have some type of positive step in a direction instead of staying stagnant.
Oh well,
I'm gonna
actually,
call
I
it. I'm
spoke
gonna
to.
call it as it is. Hold on, Yolanda. I'm gonna call it as it is, and that was Fern Shen and the Baltimore Brew, and she tends to be an instigator sometimes and not get all the right information. She is really responsible for a lot of sensationalized journalism. You know, an old, I believe she was the Washington Post reporter. You know, which is a conservative paper. You know, she needs
So
to really understand.
is the motive to try to shake people up and have them not get along and proceed, or like, what is the
It's to
motive?
create controversy. It's to create controversy, and
Yep.
unfortunately, she got her facts wrong. The issue was that there's going to be an ongoing discussion, and again, we're not. You got to remember, we're not the type that goes on with these long discussions. We're about trying to find solutions. So
Hmm.
there may be some discussions in the beginning, but the end there's going to be some permanent solutions that get implemented to try to change the plight of these homeless people. We're
Yeah,
not going to keep
actually,
having these discussions.
I want to give a shout out to the deputy mayor, um, Miss Leach,
Hmm.
um, because you know she came outside. She was the first one outside, and the one thing she did that we couldn't even get our other city officials to do. She listened. She listened to them. She heard all their concerns, she heard all their problems, and she did something. She jumped into action. You know, when we was in the meeting, and people need to stop speaking on stuff like the communicator director or whatever she is. She wasn't in the meeting. The other one that used to run her homeless services, she wasn't in the meeting. So for them to speak on what they think happened, I mean, no, you
It's disrespectful.
it's
It's
very disrespectful.
disrespectful to their
So when I
office,
start to
because,
get disrespectful, y'all don't look at me like I'm
and see,
crazy.
that's what I'm saying. It's disrespectful to their office, and somebody needs to let them know, don't do that. Because suppose we were those groups that said, "Oh, well, since they said that, this is what," you know, because we don't stop here. And
Well,
you know,
guess what, Donna, you're absolutely right. Now, since they said that, watch our work now.
yeah, but I mean, give them, talk to Leach about it. See, Miss Leach, and see what, you know, see what she said, because they need to understand that we can't bridge no gap if we can't trust you ourselves.
Exactly.
You know,
And I
like
want to
if
give a
you're going to
shout
say
out to
one
Miss
thing and
Dana Moore.
somebody else in your office is going to say another thing, and it's not consistent to what we're discussing in meetings and negotiations, it's going to go off course real fast.
Well, see, the thing is that I give flowers when flowers is due. We don't always agree with City Hall and what they do, but like I said, Brandon did answer the call. Brandon seen us out there, and he made sure everybody ate. Dana Moore, she's the lawyer. She made sure that she understood. Even by responding on Christine Flowers' post by giving us a shout out. Um, Dana Moore, like I said, Miss Leach
Miss
and
Trueheart, don't forget Miss Trueheart. I
Miss
forgot.
Trueheart. Yes,
Mhm.
Miss. Oh my God, I love that lady. Revolutionary from hell. Yes, Miss Trueheart, who set up there and said freaking pallets of water, pallets of water to our homeless individuals. Matter of fact, when we left when we left Occupy Baltimore, guess what she said? Guess what she said?
Hmm.
Christine Flowers donated the water to the children for the school event.
See, I ain't really agree with that at all, but we got our difference of opinion. I did not,
But to
because
donate the water,
they got, listen, that water was donated to the homeless. We can't recycle it to another whole
Correct.
but she gave it to
situation.
For
children.
another issue.
Yolanda, I'm sure, listen, Brandon Scott is behind the children's school event. He wasn't behind the homeless event at first. So therefore, any donations they get for that is for them. Like, we need donations. Like, those donations should have went, because the homeless didn't stop that day. It's still a bunch of homeless people out here, including some of
Oh,
mine.
let me tell you about that one. When I went downtown yesterday, none of our people was out there. The only one that was out there was Sticks, because when they say return on Sunday, Shorty Davis, Larry Wallace, and the homeless people came up with, because we didn't know how long we was going to be out there. They had already paid him to cook them food on the grill and everything, because that's what Shorty do. So that's why the return was supposed to be for basically a piece of their celebration. But we still have meetings coming up with the homeless, with Miss. I'm even gonna thank Miss Irene. Miss Irene, she did her best with the ability that she has as far as being new to Baltimore and new to our homeless encampment, our homeless situation in Baltimore. And they sat there in a meeting and they listened and they heard all our concerns, and they're saying, you know, what is it a way that we can bridge the gap between, and she actually said that she's defunding some programs with homeless services in it because of the way, what we brought to light. So, I'm gonna give a shout out to her too. There's a lot of people that's mad right now. We done pissed a lot of people off. I mean, I don't
Hey,
care if
we've
we don't
been
But they
doing
create
that.
should be. They should
if
be
we don't
pissed
create
off.
some enemies on the way to the top. We did not do our job.
They should be. I had a conversation the other day on radio, on our show on Sunday, on radio, on Spirit 1400. I said, you had Sheila Dixon, who, love or hate her, whatever the situation may be, came up with an action plan to end homelessness in 10 years. All right. This was not Sheila's plan. This was a plan that she came up with off of best practices that she researched around the country. And then she tailored it for Baltimore City. And a plan that's 14 years down the road was dismantled as soon as she was, kicked out of office. The plan that should have ended homelessness, or at least got us in a better path to address homelessness in Baltimore City, went out the door when she got kicked out the door.
But why do
And
they do
that
that?
shouldn't be.
Yeah, but why do they do that?
Because nobody wants a successful program with somebody else's name on it. You don't want to be the mayor of the city and have to acknowledge the fact that it was former mayor Sheila Dixon that put together a program that finally ended homelessness.
I don't get it, Donna. I mean, that's what best practices is about. I don't get it. If somebody, when I get in office, if somebody implemented something that was actually, so why keep Safe Streets?
Because Safe Streets is supposed to be best practice around the country.
Where's the report on that? Like, where's the numbers? Where's the, like everything that you give funding for is supposed to come out with reporting. Where is the reporting? We
Well,
can't
we
even
in our
qualify for
letter.
some of these, and we got nothing but numbers and can't get a grant, a fund, or nothing. Like, at least we do have the support. I mean, most of the time, just don't ask for no
We do a lot of
donations.
this.
Good God.
We do a lot of this just straight on sweat equity. But
Mhm.
what we have to really do is the people that have the ability to pull the funding and the resources, like the city, have to understand that there are people that can help them better manage it. I think that the current solutions and the current organizations that they have wrapped around some of these causes in Baltimore City, they're not managing the resources very well. Look at what we do most of the time on a shoestring budget in reference to helping people in the city. And here it is, you have folks that get millions of dollars like United Way, and you still have people sleeping on the outside of your organization's doorsteps. That shouldn't be. That should be a 24-hour operation, and nobody should be sleeping outside of the healthcare for homeless.
Or
Nobody.
Jason, another thing that irks me about these homeless services, like these type of programs where they pull them in and they have these restrictions. Like one of the ones we were saying, they got to be there by 2:30. They can't have a job, and they're gonna program them the whole time they there. Like, where is the skills? How are you creating a better situation for when you get them out of the shelter, not get them surrounded by a shelter, get them used to the shelter, keep them in the shelter? That's
Well,
not
Donna,
the whole business.
I just found out something earlier today that homeless services, healthcare for the homeless, the reason why their data packet is so big because they never get rid of anybody's information. They just keep recycling the same information over and over again to keep getting the funding. Um,
Wow.
Six told me that she went to them years ago, and they still have all her information. So when she go there years later, then they still have her information in the system.
And she don't use their services no more.
Wow.
But that's what I want to know about these grants, because the one thing I learned in trying to do this grant workshop was that when you fill out for these grants, one of the things that they tell you is that you got to have a 5-10 year plan, that you're not going to continue to come back to them. These Catholic charities, a lot of these charities are the same ones that rotate the money. They get the funding, they get the millions of dollars, and they give pennies on a dollar.
Right.
Pennies on a dollar.
Right. And then a lot of times they come up with these one fixed solutions that don't work with everybody. The issue with Six is totally different than some of the ones out there that are dealing with substance abuse
And
issues.
that's another thing.
Some of them that are dealing with mental health issues. Or let me end this real quick, because there was another lady that was down at the encampment in I-83, where we had the incident where 2 women died over the wintertime down there with Miss Flowers was trying to get them some resources at. And there was a lady that was down there, and she was not the typical homeless. She had a job, but she lost her job due to COVID and the shutdown. She thought she had enough savings and resources to be able to help her out. The stimulus money and all these packages that were out there to help to prevent evictions wasn't out yet. And she ended up underneath 83 living in a tent. That's not your typical homeless. That's not your typical homeless.
But
And
if you
that's the
take
thing
away
with
the
Six.
judgment of what people think homeless is, you got to take away the judgment, because it's nothing typical about homelessness. It's a bunch of men, it's a bunch of women, it's a bunch of children, it's some with health issues, it's some with mental issues, it's some with substance abuse issues. It was even like I was telling people when I used to work down 7-Eleven down Saratoga in Utah, it was this very articulate black man that used to come in there every day. And people used to look down on him, and like he used to smile, and the typical what homelessness looked like, but he didn't speak like it. And it just piqued my interest. And one day I just asked him, what happened? You know what? I just need to know what happened. And then I come to find out he was a very, very high profile attorney in Baltimore City who lost his family in a fire, and he lost his mind and just went to drinking and lost everything. So because everybody just decided that, oh, well, he gone, I'm not giving him no more chances. And that's where he ended up. But that's not, like just a prejudgment. Open the book and read it. Ask them questions like, by sitting down there, it gave us a lot of time to communicate and talk with them, and just to hear them, because a lot of people want to say what we think they need. How about you ask them?
That's
When
what
the
I
last
said.
time you talked to them and asked them what they need?
Well, let me
When?
tell you about 6 the other day, and I heard what she was saying, and then I had to repeat it back today. She said, and I actually put her on with the director who's over top of the shelter that she's in, because she told them about the conditions in there. She said, what do you do with the ones who don't get high, who don't have mental illness, and life, and the ones that life just happened? She said, and see, this is the thing that I need to talk to them about. You can't mix all those people together. She said they have me up all night because the lady on the other side of the room, she gets up, she jumps up, she starts screaming and yelling, and she's talking to herself. She said, what am I supposed to do with that? They giving her blankets with blood on it and all kinds of disturbance. So he told her to come find him tomorrow so he can get her put somewhere else. But at the end of the day, she brought light to, you got 3 different kinds of homeless people out there. You have the mentally ill, you have the addicts, because she said that there's people walking around there with open sores, all kinds of stuff, and then you have the ones where life just happened. Why do you have them all in the same place under one group of homelessness? It should be 3 categories of homelessness. They should be treating it as such.
Because a lot of these programs aren't getting to know the people that they're housing. They're just placing them places.
No, they just, yeah, you're right. They just say, oh
That's
yeah, well,
because
you
they put
homeless.
them all in
Let's put
one
them in the dorm.
basket and say, oh, well, they
Yeah.
all, like, well, let's just put them over there. It doesn't. And who's holding these shelters in places? Who's really going after them and making sure they're accountable for what's going on? Like the cleanliness, the respect, the dignity, the things that you would want, because I'm sure although some of us have never been in the shelter, I'm sure that all of us at this day and age,
I've been in shelter.
we know, listen, I say I'm sure that all of us at one point have known someone homeless, have
Well,
known them.
technically, I wasn't homeless. Remember when that rumor was going around? You stay in a shelter for a month.
30
A month,
days.
yeah,
Yeah.
30 days. They get you housing. Remember, I did that mess and went to
Mm,
Antioch. That was the most
mm.
disgusting thing. I tell me, bring your children. I looked at that woman like she lost her freaking mind. I'm not bringing my children in here. And the things that I seen in there in 30 days, and that was back in the freaking 90s,
Mhm.
has now transitioned to
I
worse.
remember the visits.
Right.
Wasn't it that place over there off Harper Road?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
I used to tell Donna, come get me.
We gonna get a place, remember? We gonna get a place.
Yeah, Donna, come get me. That was disturbing. And just like she said, and it was supposed to be, it was called Antioch Shelter, right there on Harford Road. It's still a shelter, I think, but the name has been changed. But the conditions has not changed. The only thing they did was move me from a dorm and then told me to go downstairs in a private room with some strange white woman. And I told them I'm not sharing the room with that. I said, and then they
Would
told
have
me I
been
had to
better
pay
if it
rent.
was a strange black
They
woman.
told me after 30 days I had to pay rent.
Mhm.
I got out of there.
Mhm.
F your housing. I'm just disturbed. I'm trauma.
But see, I don't understand why we don't look at what's best practice. Again, we know that around the country, best practice is housing first model. I watched a 60-minute documentary, and someone I was speaking to earlier today said that they remembered seeing that documentary. But there's a 60-minute news clip on 60 Minutes where they talked about a housing first model in one of these major cities, and it's actually a tiny village, like what we're kind of proposing and talking about. And the outreach workers, instead of them going out and addressing the homelessness in the street, addressing them where they are, in the cardboard boxes, in the tents, with the shopping carts, to be mobile, instead of going to them and dealing with them and not moving them from those locations, they go out with a van. They grab them up by the tents, they grab them up by their cardboard boxes and all their personal belongings, and they say, come with us. And they take them to a tiny village. the first thing they do is they hand them a set of keys. And they say, look, this is the shower area. Go get yourself cleaned up. Give us your clothes. We're going to wash your clothes. By the time you get out of your shower, we'll have some clothes ready for you, or we already have some clean clothes ready for you. They helped them. They sent them immediately to a barber. This was a guy that was scruffy. I mean, he had the beard, the hair was all over the place because he hadn't had his haircut and the shave in God knows how long. And at the end of just a few hours of just, addressing him in that manner, at the end of just a few hours, you should have seen the glow on this man's face. This first of all, all the scruffiness was gone. He was clean, and he was sitting there in what was now deemed as his apartment, as his unit.
Well, see, Jason, that's where
There's
that's
a sense
the way
of pride
I built.
there.
Yeah, but that's the way I built my tiny house model. Instead of
That kind of sort of remind me of that
instead of them coming to us, we go to them, and you got all the services that they need in one spot. They don't have to travel outside. And see, the one thing to do,
and you send your caseworkers out to go get them. You don't go deal with them where they're at. You go get them and you bring them back to the tiny village.
But Jason, let me tell you, that kind of, Yolanda, remember I was going to do the pay it forward event?
yeah,
I was going to do this, and we're gonna get it up and running one day. But it was crazy that I was getting people from all over the United States, even internationally, that was offering donations, like hair donations, because and I was getting like a lot of salon owners and barbers that was telling me that they was going to dedicate their time. And where we failed at? Because we couldn't find nobody to give the services to. The ones that was contacting me was homegirls. Girl, I need my hair done. Girl, and I just think that's so disrespectful. If you know what the situation is, like you got the same ones that don't want to dedicate, and I've been going off a lot lately. They don't want to dedicate. I get it that a lot of us don't have no money. I don't have no money, but I put up all my time. And I feel like that's the most expensive part of me right now, my time. But I'm willing to dedicate all of that for like issues and things, because if we don't avoid it, how do we know that we're not going to be facing that in the next month or 2 or 3? Like, I want to end it so I don't be facing that. Or my kids or my grandkids.
Many of us are just 1 or 2 paychecks away from being
told them that.
outside.
I told them
that.
Well,
I don't have a paycheck, so I'm already a smell away. Like, I'm a sneeze away. Achoo.
Right. And I told them that the other day. I said, we're not that far from being in one of those tents in the next couple of months or so. So, we're not exempt. And why wouldn't we want to fix it? Why wouldn't we want to fix the problem? We have the solution. The problem is they don't want to fix the problem. They don't want to cure it. They just want to do prevention.
That sounds like our medical.
Right.
That's like our doctors.
The money is in prevention and not the cure. And that's what everything that ails us in Baltimore City. But we need to jump off this subject, and we need to jump on education for the next 2 minutes. When North Avenue was actually raided because of something.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, what we understand is that the FBI has went to North Avenue to actually, I guess, pull the payroll documents to a coach from Dunbar High School.
Wait, what? Just them?
Yeah.
The black man, huh? Like just the black coach that's probably the one that's really helping the black kids over in the neighborhood. Why they pull everybody payroll?
They get them for stealing time.
Why they ain't get everybody for stealing time? Like we literally have been fighting against them for their theft, and they going at the coach.
Yeah, I think this message, and let's send this message out to the FBI. What's that?
Misdirection.
Well, of course it's misdirection.
Somebody need to take a fall.
I would like to throw this message out there because, they say the FBI monitors social media. So, Mr. FBI, if you're listening, I think you're looking up the wrong avenue. You really should be looking at the teachers who are padding the grades, changing the grades and test scores of our students, adding ghost students that don't exist, and making sure that they're on the books for more than 6 months so they can make sure that they get funding for that particular school. I think you're really looking at the wrong avenue when you look at a coach that in many cases may be the only safety net that a lot of these schools have in reference to saving our children. And I think that you really need to be looking with your magnifying glass at what's going on in reference to why these students are reading, 70% of them are reading below grade level. Many of them can't do reading, writing, and arithmetic at grade level. I think that's where you really need to be doing your
But they
investigation at.
succeed in sports. But that's
that's
Well,
because
see,
of the
not if they
coaches.
go
My
after the good
son,
coach. Not if
my
they go after
son,
the, and not to rationalize if he
right,
did do anything
right.
wrong. That's not what we're doing. We're not
Correct.
rationalizing, but they need to go a little deeper and a little further.
And in many cases, these coaches is the safety net, because I could tell you, many of the young boys that played for Southwestern, for the Sabres, if it wasn't for the coaches who emphasized books first, because before they went to practice, before they did anything else, as a matter of fact, if their grades were falling short, they made sure that they were doing what they had to do first as far as their academics was concerned before they ever touched a pad or a helmet and got on them fields. So shout out to all the coaches around all the city schools that they go out there every day and try to make a difference for these young men.
And another thing, Jason, Mr. FBI people, man, whoever you are, Mr. CIA and Mr. IRS, I need y'all to go after the Board of Education over on North Avenue and bring up some RICO charges. At this point right here, this is organized crime.
Nope.
So I'm not thinking about that little coach that stole some overtime. I'm thinking about them stealing billions of dollars for years. Mr.
Every year.
FBI.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a deploy by our great, so-called great CEO to kind of throw everything off, to have them investigate one.
You say you wouldn't be
teacher.
surprised. You ain't no psychic, sir, but it sounds like truth to me.
And the truth needs no
My
support.
name ain't Cleo. My name ain't Cleo, but I could tell some future. You know what I mean?
Donna, I want to read my poem that I wanted to read before we came on today.
Yeah.
The one that I wrote earlier before the Patrick
to
Henderson
close
show.
us out.
Yeah, we're gonna close out for this. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We love you dearly, but start joining in the conversation, because your silence is consent. So join us in. If you want to type it in at the bottom, come on the show or whatever the case may be. We invite all the hosts.
We love to hear
have
from you.
other
Teachers,
shows.
educators.
Yeah,
give us some
people that are
subjects you like to
fighting
talk
homeless.
about too.
Yep.
Right.
Deron, come on in here. Why are you hiding? Come on in here and listen to this. Listen to this poetic justice.
Yeah, I'm right here.
We don't see you.
Well, we
There
don't
you go.
see you. That's the problem. That's why it's
Yeah,
called
I was
live
doing-
podcast.
Listen to
doing
some of
things.
this. Listen to some of this poetic justice.
I need Black people to see their worth, to understand that we're the originators of God's green earth. Rise up against who rise up against us, and that's why Rosa Parks never sit on the back of the bus. Our original sins is self-inflicted nonsense, because we refuse to believe what position God has put us in. From between a Negro woman's legs, a great nation has rise. I don't know why other ethnic groups want to now act surprised. Erase critical race theory, a race to be critical. We know why they do what they want. It's, at this point, it's not only diabolical, it's also cynical. Erase their history and erase their minds. Take their historical glasses off and make them blind. Martin Luther King had a dream and is now our nightmare. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad challenges the Black man to care. Our job to protect our women, babies, and our lives by any means necessary. We must do revolutionary work, maybe become mercenaries. Mercenaries to destroy the dreams and hopes of those who still want to destroy our past. The way that we are going, sleep dead, unaware, our generational curse is here to last.
I thought you about to say with your black ass. Excuse me.
I hate you.
And
Good
with
night,
that
y'all.
note,
Love y'all. We
good
see y'all
night,
next week.
y'all.
Love
Thank
y'all.
you again.
Bye-bye.
And thank you again. And I got it wrong. Thank you to blackusa.news for allowing us this opportunity. See y'all next week. Wow.
See you next week.
You're so wrong.
But your black ass.
Right.